Doing? Hello, can you hear me, Lynn? Yes, Lynn, can you hear me?
Yeah, okay.
All right, great, great. How are you doing, Lynn?
I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great as well. Thank you for asking. So, Miss Lynn, did you prepare your presentation, the one I gave you yesterday?
Actually, I didn't still see your message.
Oh,
I saw it right now.
okay, okay, no problem, no problem. But as I gave you yesterday, but you do have some information to share about regarding to the presentation I gave you. So the presentation was about this thing that I wanted to ask you these things that can you put some light on these things that how can someone any person, whether he has done his undergrad degree in computer science or not, what are some languages that a person can use to learn? What are some languages a person can learn and start their career as a freelancer on the websites like I'm working on fiverr.com, because a lot of people are interested in web developing, and a lot of people are interested in developing Android applications and stuff like that. So what is your personal perspective, that what are the resources that we can use to learn these different languages and which language is important for which purpose? For example, we have a couple of languages. For example, we have Python, we have HTML, we have somewhat JavaScript, all right, or maybe you call it Java, right? We have CSS, we have C#, and maybe other languages because are a student of computer science. I'm not, okay? So yes, what is your personal take on that? What do you think?
You asked me the question yesterday, and I thought about it. I think my answer is JavaScript. Yeah, I think, and I know this language is not the first language. Maybe the students will study firstly at school or maybe in the training course. But I think, um, from my perspective, study is not the aim, but finding a good job is the most important purpose. So I think, according to the job requirement in
Okay.
China this year, maybe in the next 5 years,
Okay.
You might have more chance to work as a front end developer.
Front end developer. Okay.
Yeah. So and you will use JavaScript. So I think it is better to study JavaScript. And besides, this JavaScript is I can't say it's an easy language or it's a difficult language because
JavaScript. You're talking about JavaScript right now.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think the principles of every languages are difficult. But I think if you are work as a front end developer and use JavaScript, you will uh, you will see the website interface. You will not see the if you are the back end developer, you will see the comment line for the whole day. Yeah, you can if you are a front-end developer, you could design your website.
Okay, all right, that's a good information. And to become a front-end developer, because you see, if we talk about web developing, so you're absolutely right. There are two types of web developers. One are the front-end, one are the back-end developers. All right. So a lot of people like consider as HTML as a very basic web developing language. All right. But a lot of advanced people, they say that, well, you can also develop web pages by using the Python language. How much do you think that Python language is important in developing web pages?
You said back-end language.
Okay, Python is a backend language.
Python.
Python, yeah.
I think Python is not the language for front end development. Let me see.
Yeah.
I think Python is used for back end, and it is a developing language.
Okay.
But I think it is not a good choice.
It's not a good choice. Okay.
Because Python is used for the data,
Yeah, exactly. You can call it for for research. Python is mostly used for artificial intelligence for research work, analyzing the data. And there are a lot of things that we studied back in our undergrad years. In Python, we did study in artificial intelligence. We did study the Python language, and it was used for supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and we can it was mostly used for prediction of the data. So that was the use that we saw of the Python when we were studying in our undergrad. Okay, but talking about the front end developing. Okay, so to develop the front end web pages.
Sorry, wait a minute.
Okay, yeah, sure, no problem.
I can't hear your voice.
Okay, can you hear my voice now?
Okay.
Okay, great. So yeah, as I was saying this thing that to become a front end developer, what are the languages that a person should learn, and what are the resources from which a person can learn front end development? Yes, regarding to web pages, if we talk about.
Sorry, your voice is not clear.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Maybe I change it.
Okay, sure, no problem. Change it. You can take your time. Yes. Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Good, perfect. So I was talking about front-end developing, all right? So as a front-end developer, what are the basic languages that a person should know and they should learn to become a front-end developer while developing a website, a web page, for example?
HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and I think it's the language you should require for the web and front end developer. But if you like to do some programming in the the computer desktop application, and you should learn C++ or C++.
Okay, what is the previous one before C++?
I say if you...
Yeah, for desktop applications, what languages are important?
Yeah. C++.
C++? And okay, C++. All right, that's important for that one. Okay, and what about the backend developers?
Backend developer is the popular language is Java.
Java. All right. Okay, so that's for building the websites. Do you know anything about applications, for example, Android applications?
I didn't have access to it.
Okay, all right. In your course of your undergraduate studies, you have not studied that how a person can develop a Android application. Which languages we should use to develop Android applications if we want to?
I remember. I don't have the lessons to study it, but I remember if I like to develop an Android application or iOS, I need to study maybe Java.
Okay, okay, that's great. That's great. That's great. Okay. And what are the free resources? Can you put some light on that? What are the free resources from where we can learn HTML, JavaScript or Java or CSS?
For me, I always study the languages in the MOOC, or I could find some document in others' blog.
Okay, and what about the online tutorials? Are the is it good to study from YouTube regarding to the languages? Because I've seen that, for example, if you talk about Code Camp, there's a YouTube channel named the Code Camp. So they have a lot of pretty lessons for HTML, JavaScript, and CSS at the same time.
Um, Actually, I have studied some tutorials in the such in the website such as Bilibili, but actually the videos in such websites are just the record of the courses in MOOC.
Oh, okay, all right. So you personally prefer to study from books or different blogs, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Okay. So I think, and what about Python? Have you studied Python in your undergraduate?
Yeah. I studied Python.
That's great. And
but I don't master it.
no, it's all right. It's all right. What are some applications of Python language? Can you name some applications of Python language? That where the Python language is used, and what is the use of Python language? Can you put some light on that?
Application.
Applications, yes, exact. For example, HTML, CSS is used to develop web pages, right? To develop websites, front-end developing. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. For what reasons do we use Python language?
Let me see.
Okay.
I think Python is an easy program to language to program, and it is just one of the language to develop the application.
Okay, good, good. Now I'm gonna tell you a couple of new applications regarding to Python, because in my undergraduate I had this opportunity to study the Python language in my course. Okay, I had a course of artificial intelligence. Okay, in my last semester. Right now, here are a couple of examples. So basically, you can use that language in artificial intelligence, in machine learning as well. All right, you can use that. That language in machine learning as well. And if you want to do some data analytics or some prediction, some predictory thing, okay, or you want to create an algorithm. If you want to create an algorithm, for example, if you are given a job, Lynn, to create an algorithm, and you have to teach the algorithm. Okay, you have to teach the algorithm. For example, you are given a job to create an algorithm which is in hospitals. All right, it's a kind of like a screen in the hospitals. Every patient is coming to and interacting with that touch screen in the hospital, right? So for example, that application, that screen is asking every patient in the hospital that okay, what's problem with you? What is your problem? The patient is putting input like I have flu, and then it's asking that okay, do you have cough? Each patient is saying yes, and then again maybe machine is asking for some more inputs. For example, all right, from how many days do you have it? Then the patient is writing down on the touch screen, okay, I have from 1 week. Based on the previous data, actually, the algorithm is giving you answer that what might have happened with you. You have normal fever, you have COVID-19, or any other problem with yourself. Okay, so that's how we can use Actually, we train the algorithm with the data from the previous times. Like if we take data for like, from 10 years before, okay? And then if we train the algorithm with that data, only then like, we can like have the, more accurate results, all right? So if we talk about AI and machine learning or training the algorithm, so then we come to know that there is two types of like, things in artificial intelligence. One is supervised learning and one is unsupervised learning. So have you studied about supervised and unsupervised learning?
Yeah, I studied. I learned a little.
Okay.
Actually, you said the application used in the hospital. I I remember I was a sophomore. I was an intern in the company to develop a system to which could be used in hospital. But I think maybe because of the government, uh, we could not have access to the data.
Of course, of course. You cannot have access to that sensitive data of patients for like, for the last 10 years. And you can use that sensitive data to train your algorithm if it's not possible in all the like, stages, right? So yes, that's one of the use of artificial intelligence of Python language. Do you remember studying?
Yeah.
Do you remember studying clustering, decision tree, clustering? These were
Decision tree. Okay. Yeah, I know.
exactly because I studied those as well. I did study those back in my last semester of my undergrad degree. So yes, I mean like it was a very fun course. It was a very fun course. It's also used in web development as well because it's also kind of one of the advanced language. It's used in the web development. It's used in the game development. And have you heard about this phenomena? Have you heard about this term, natural language processing, NLP?
Yes, of course.
Yes, exactly. So the Python is also used. So the Python is also used like to create algorithms of NLP, natural language processing. Have you seen this thing, Lynn? That whenever we speak to the Google, like the Google mic thing, so it gives an option like you can speak, and if you speak, it's gonna write it for you. Right? So at the back end, what we have studied based on that's also used. All right. So the NLP, natural language processing, is being used as an algorithm back then. What about the YouTube's recommender system? Have you studied that? YouTube's recommender system. That how does YouTube recommends us videos to watch?
My graduation project is about recommendation algorithm.
Wow. Yeah. That's great. That's great. Can you tell about your graduation project about recommender system? What is it about? How did you program and what languages did you use? Please.
Okay, my graduation project is developing a e-commerce website, and if you click the commodity, and the system could recommend a commodity to you.
Wow, that's
and
nice.
The algorithm is how to describe.
Okay.
It's difficult to describe.
That's a challenge. We are learning English here as well. Don't forget that we are learning English as well. So it's a very good topic to discuss about, right? So what language did you use in your final year project?
The JavaScript in the front end, Java in back end, and Python in data processing.
Data processing. That's great. That's great. Okay. Do you have any idea? Because I don't know whether it's a new field or it's very old subject or a new course or an old course. Data science. because a lot of others, there are a lot of people in the world now, they are doing their undergraduation in data science, and they become data scientists. What do they do? Do you have any idea?
I think their jobs are to collect the data in the website and use the data to compute, to model our real life system, and to compute the result and show to us.
Absolutely, absolutely. There was one data scientist. He was based in Singapore. I was watching his interview taken by a YouTube channel, right? So his job was that different companies, different mega giant companies used to approach to him, and they asked him to do a little bit market studying. So his job was to study different markets. For example, if Coca-Cola, like the drink, the beverage company, right? If they are approaching to a data scientist, so they are asking the data scientist that after the next year we are planning to open our factory in Africa. Okay, so the data scientist is asked that can you please do a little bit research based on our exports to the Africa in the past 5 years, and how much Africa has consumed our product. Based on that research, we will take a decision that should we or should we not have a factory or have a company in Africa. So it's just an example that I wanted to give you. And my God, they are like paid very very high amount of salaries, data scientists. And yes, and I think Python is also used in analyzing, predicting the future data as well. It's used in the predicting the future data as well. For example, take an example of quantum computers. So in quantum computers, have you studied something about quantum computing?
Quantum computer.
Yes.
I don't know.
Okay.
What is it?
Okay, just wanted to tell a little bit about quantum computers, what I've studied back in my undergrad. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we had an assignment back in our first semester. Okay, and I do remember from my sophomore year, right? So it was about the normal computers. The normal computers, they take input in binary, 0 or 1. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have bits, bits, bits. It's either 0, it's either 1, right? But if you talk about quantum computers, so it's not bits, it's qubits. They take input in 3 bits, 3 different bits, if I'm not completely wrong, right? It's 0 1 1 0, oh sorry, 0 1 0. It's combination of 3 bits. It's called qubits. So it's the access to the quantum computers is not available for everyone. It's only available for a couple of people, couple of special people. For example, Google. Google has access to the quantum computing, and NASA, that American Space Agency, right? So they use that for further research of space, and so forth, exactly like that. So why do you think, Lynn, that why data is so important nowadays? Data of everything, data of everyone. Why do you think that data is so important nowadays?
I think data. Actually, it is data or data.
Well, it depends on
the.
You can call it data. You can say data. It depends on your pronunciation, the way you want to pronounce it. No problem. You can say data.
Which one is the more correct?
Okay, you can go for data.
Oh, okay. I think the data is the whole information of the world. Yeah. I think in the society and right now, data is the most valuable thing. Yeah, we and the society run because of the data exists.
Absolutely, absolutely. I would just like to put some light on that particular topic, that why data is so important. You see, whenever we talk about Python language, so in Python
Mm,
language, what do we have to basically do in artificial intelligence and in machine learning? We have to train the algorithms that they should perform more accurately. So we are actually, looking for the most, the most amazing accuracy results. We are looking for like 100% accuracy in our results. So that's why we train the data. Okay, let's take an
mm,
example of anything. Let's take an example of anything. All right, if we train the algorithm with the entire data of the entire world, algorithm for anything. For example, you're watching some movies on Netflix, all right? Maybe you're watching some
yeah.
comedy movies on Netflix. As you told me, you like comedy
Mm,
movies, right? And
yeah.
yes, exactly. And you have been using Netflix since you were born. Not since you were born, of
Mm,
course. Like since your 10th grade. Since your 10th grade, all right? So
yeah.
since your 10th grade, you have been using Netflix. You have been watching comedy movies, all right? Since 10th grade until now, until your graduation, you have been watching uh, the comedy movies on Netflix. So the algorithm, you have been teaching the algorithm, you have been training the algorithm back who is working in the recommender system, that what kinds of comedy movies do I like to watch, whether they are American, whether they are European, whether they are Chinese, whether they are Korean. So in the upcoming days, the results that Netflix is going to recommend you, they are going to be 90 or 95% accurate. Do you understand that? So that's I think that's the more nice use of that. Well, coming back to the topic, because I'm not gonna now gonna conclude. I'm now gonna conclude by saying this thing that people as freelancers who wants to, like, whoever wants to like work as a freelancer on different websites, or even like, if you want to like get hired by any company, all right. But most probably, I'm gonna talk about freelancing, all right. So I think HTML, you should learn HTML. That's a very, 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 very basic language, all right? And then you can go for CSS. The CSS is used for the styling thing, right? Styling the web page.
Yeah.
Yes, because CSS is used for, like, to style the web page, like, the colors, the text size, the font size,
Mm,
the font style, of course, right? So you should better
yeah.
learn HTML and CSS to develop a very basic website. Is that all right?
No, no, I didn't use HTML and CSS only. I always develop a website using JS.
JavaScript.
I think it is. Yeah, I
JavaScript,
think
right?
it is.
Yes,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you use that in the back end. I'm just talking about the front end. All right? But if you want to, like, put some input, like, if your website is asking for any input, for example, like, you got to put your name, you have to type something on the website. I think for that
yeah,
particular purpose, you need JavaScript, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. But, to develop a very basic web page without any inputs, so for only that purpose, HTML is going to work fine, and CSS is going to work fine. But if you want to put some input kind of thing, a kind of a page or a name or number or anything like that, then you can use JavaScript, right?
Yeah.
And if we talk about the backend development, so for that we have to use Java or JavaScript.
Yeah. Maybe Java.
Would be Java. All right.
And
Okay. But in today's world, I would suggest other people as well that they should also learn Python as well, because Python, can be used in a lot of other applications, and Python can be used in the web development as well.
mm, actually,
At some stages, because I think you haven't studied that.
I think Python is in this year is a very popular language, um, but the jobs using Python is not enough. I think.
Oh, of course. For that, like, you have to, like, learn a lot of other languages as well. But to work as a freelancer, because freelancing is not a kind of a job that a company is hiring you. You're opening your own company, like, right? You're working as a one individual. If, for example, if I give you order that Lynn, create a web page for my English, for my English language thing, all right, that I'm teaching IELTS and I'm teaching English, all right, what are the languages you're going to use?
Sorry, can you repeat it?
Of course, of course. I want you to develop a web page for me. I want you to develop a website for me. All right. What are the languages you're going to use? In that website. I want people to see what courses I'm offering. In that website, I want people to see how they can pay me. In that website, I want an option that people can pay me through their credit cards. So how you are going to develop that website?
And it's not a basic website, and you need the information, the knowledge of front end and back end. So I think JavaScript and Java is also important.
Exactly, absolutely. So HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Java. These all four languages would be important to develop a very nice website, like you having all the fancy options, right? Okay, that was good. That was good. That was good. And by learning these languages, people can start earning and work as freelancers.
Sorry.
Okay. So these are the basic languages. Right? I'm just gonna so it's HTML, it's CSS, it's Java, and it's JavaScript. All right. And if someone wants to learn something advanced, so they can go for Python. And to be very honest with you, you can use Python language in web development as well. You have to do a little bit research regarding to that, and it's most probably used in creating algorithms or doing a little bit research regarding to data, or as we were discussing regarding to the recommender system as well, as we were discussing that thing before. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And in China, for example, Lynn, you as a computer science student, what are the job opportunities for you back in China as a computer science student who has done major in computer science? What are the job opportunities for a student like you?
Do you mean the opportunities when I'm in college?
After graduating.
I think the most many students in computer science select to work for the internet
companies. Internet companies. Okay. Internet companies. All right. And what is their job description? Like, are they working as troubleshooters? Like, if there is any problem in the code, so they are trying to resolve that problem. What do they do in their computer science based jobs? What do they work in the office? Let me make it very easier for you.
In the office.
Yeah.
Do you mean how they could solve the problems?
Exactly. Yes.
Maybe ask the question to the it's not
Good.
a classmate. It's I don't know how to describe the person who work with.
Okay, have you done any internship in your undergrad? Did you did any internships?
Yeah.
Tell me about that internship as a computer science student.
I was an internship in a company which is it's not a big company, just a small company which my teacher opened it.
Okay.
And we in the during my internship I I studied the languages, the basic languages, and developed some websites for the company to use.
That's nice. That's great. That's great. Okay, all right, Lynn. I think I did ask a lot of questions from you regarding to computer science and programming. There were a lot of things. There
Yeah.
were a lot of things. All right. So if you would have prepared on this presentation, we would have opportunity to speak more and more on this topic. But it's all right. I think you gave a lot of information regarding to that, and thank you so much. Thank you so much for that.
Okay, thank you.